there is no world timeline to begin with. That's the something you need to understand. Is there actually is no world timeline. There's your timeline, and then you have shared timelines that you happen to coincide with. In other words, you have parallel timelines with others in your pod. So you have a pack of green timeline, which is parallel. Mm-hmm. Sometimes, in other cases, folks will drop off and go to a non-parallel timeline, right. In which case they seem to vanish on you. Come and sit down.
Well, there comes a sense of, if I only knew which way to push, then I could choose or navigate the direction. I'm not saying that's where it's coming from.
Yes, you have volition. Okay, when you start seeing the slurry blurs, the blurs in the paths, there is a certain amount of volition that you have. I don't like to micromanage that volition. What I like to do instead, this is my preference, what I like to do is simply have that necessity tie into the necessity to remain on the work path. That way I always take the right choice. I don't have to make micromanaged choices. Otherwise I'd have to dance pretty fast. And when a big thing comes down, capital B, capital T, big thing, comes down, there are so many micro paths and so many micro choices, I think you'll find it impossible to dance through that.
Yeah, I know from...
So you want to put that dance on automatic, basically.
Right.
And say, okay, here's my destination, take me there. However you have to get there. It's like getting in a cab in an unfamiliar city and saying to the cab driver, I want to go to such and such a place. Now the cab driver presumably knows how to get there, knows where it is, and you just have to pay attention to make sure the cab driver's not ripping you off and taking you around and around in circles, you know. In fact, they probably will, but...
Yeah, but if you allow for a certain amount of rip-off, a certain amount of leeway, and you don't involve yourself in, do you go the Parkway, do you go whichever, then you save yourself a lot of nutness.
Well, here's how you do that in New York, for instance. There's some places in New York that I still today don't know. It's not an awful lot. I mean, I can tell you that I can tell you how to get to Lafayette Street from 186th and Grand Concourse, okay? I can even tell you which subways to take and which trains to take, the AA and the E and so forth. Take this to the express stop, and get to the express stop, go to there, get off, take a local from there to there, and so forth. Take get a transfer, cut across town on a bus. So I can tell you how to get to the most exotic places, and that would be Van Cortlandt Street and Mott Street and Orchard Street and so forth. I can tell you how to get to each of these things, and even which address is probably at which block is pretty much. I know pretty much, but there's some places in New York I just don't know. So what I do is I get in the cab, and I say, before I actually get in the cab, I say, hey buddy, it's what you say in New York, hey buddy, can you get me, because you want them to know you're a New Yorker, you know, I need to get from here to Mott Street, I need to get to Mott Street in like 10 minutes, can you do that? Oh yeah, no problem. All right, get me to Mott Street in 10 minutes, I'll give you an extra couple of bucks, okay? Now that way you know he's going to take a direct route. He's not going to doodle you around. Right. But if you said, pardon me, but I need to go to Mott Street, do you have any idea where all that might be? He'd say, sure buddy, get in. And from that point on, you're in for a $150 ride.
Now,
so that's basically it. So that's basically how you travel in these pathways also, is you say, I got 20 minutes to get to Mott Street, or 10 minutes to get to Mott Street. Get me there the fastest way possible. I got to get through to the work route, and I need to get there. But now in the Hoover Blue, you've already got that mapped out, so you don't have to do anything in the lifetime.
That's what I was gonna ask. You know, it's like you said one time. It's like it's how elegant you go through it, but basically your path is chosen.
Yes, it is. You have chosen your path, and that path is laid out in detail on the Hoover Blue.
But does the Hoover Blue cover the next 14 days?
What do you mean by that?
Well, see, I don't know if during the next 14 days, even if I live through it, I don't know if it's part of this, of my quote lifetime.
Oh, yes, it is. You've taken a map. You have a map now laid out, including your parallel universe changes, your choices.
Because I was thinking in my paranoid thoughts that isn't it convenient that you have introduced a discipline that requires people exert their commitment and their involvement at a time when it might be nice to be near the boat in case the boat or the train takes off.
Yeah.
But if you're saying it's already established...
It is established, yes, it is established. We already have the bail run worked out, mapped out, we know exactly where we're going to go, and we actually have no choice. We're choiceless as a pack of green as to where we go and how we get there. We have the route mapped out, and you've got everything mapped out, including your choice of which parallel universe to be in every half hour. As we change every half hour, 20 minutes, 2 hours, 3 hours, that's mapped. It may look very elaborate from here, but that's actually very simple.
So it just appears as a choice, but it really is just.
No, it's not what I'm getting at. There are. If you micromanaged it, it would look impossible.
Yeah, and I think it would drive you nuts.
You couldn't do it. You'd have to sit on this machine every 20 minutes. You'd have to kind of maneuver yourself to the next thing and so forth, and make sure you got the right one and so on.
Well, yeah.
But on the Hoover Blue, that map is not complex looking. The reason is because what happens is essentially what we do with a maze, with your wind god, which is we say we're starting here, we want to end over here, this is the end point, we're going to take this exit out, get us from here to here, show me several routes. And it goes, and it maps out those routes. And you have 3 or 4 good routes. And you say, okay, show me a complete route. And it goes in a blue line. That blue line, in fact, we call it Blue Line Academy, and it's very funny because this comes out in the Hoover Blue as a blue line showing your route through the various dimensional travels, dimensional alternatives. So it goes, it actually is instantaneous, but you see it as a spread. Okay, show me another one. In red. Another one in yellow. Okay, now let's look at those 3 and see if there's any really bad shit in those things. Yes, there is. There's bad shit in all 3 of those things. Well, which is the least of the bad shit? So you choose the least of the bad shit that gets you to the same place. So you choose the best alternative, usually of 3, the best and cheapest route possible, the thing that will get you there the best way, and get you there in the condition you need to be in when you get there.